Epidemic is affecting or tending to affect disproportionately large number of individuals within a population, community, or region at the same time. Basically, when we talk about violence in the black community, we're looking at an epidemic because it's disproportionately affecting large numbers of individuals within the community or region. Now, when we go from epidemic, we go to pandemic. Pandemic, occurring over a wide geographic area and affecting an exceptionally high proportion of the population. When we look at pandemics throughout the black community, it is pandemic because it's affecting almost the entire community. It's affecting grandmothers, grandfathers, children, adults, but mostly it's affecting youth, and it is pandemic over our region. Thirdly, I want to talk about endemic. Endemic means regularly found among particular people in a certain area, native or restricted to a certain country or area. Clearly, there's no violence on the level that's occurring in our community, occurring in Evanston, Glencoe, Barrington, Hoffman Estates. So it's endemic to the black community. Now let's move forward, okay? When we talked yesterday, we talked about GRIDS, HIV, and the Zika virus. And the reason I brought these topics up is because I wanted people to see the public health response once these crises came. In about 1983, we heard about an epidemic that was occurring amongst the gay community. It was called GIDS, Gay-Related Immunodeficiency Syndrome. Initially, we didn't know what it was. What happened, it started off with just multiple numbers of men in the gay community coming down with weird illnesses that we had never seen that indicated that there was a compromised immune system. But what happened after we found that out is what's important here. Because what happened first was research. Excuse me, let me use another color. The first thing we did in this public health crisis was research, because we knew that something was causing the immune systems of these gentlemen to fail. And then after we began doing wider spread research, we found out that it was not only affecting gay men, it was affecting injection drug users, it was affecting bisexual men, and it was also affecting people who had gotten blood or blood products through blood banking. So after that, we discovered what? Through the research, we discovered that there was a pathogen. And that pathogen was known as the HIV virus, or human immunodeficiency virus. What did we do once we knew there was a pathogen? We started targeting a way to find out whether or not people had it, and we came up with the test, which was known as the Western blot test. Now, why am I going into all of this? GRIDS was initially a public health epidemic. Large numbers of people were dying and becoming immunocompromised due to this problem. First, we had the research. We found the pathogen. We developed the Western blot test, and then we began to do more. We found a way to diagnose. Okay? Diagnosis led to treatment. And we had our initial treatments under the antiretroviral drugs, okay? So we got our first stream of antiretroviral drugs that allow us to combat the problem. After treatment, we had prevention. We started talking about ways to prevent the spread of the virus. What did this do? This was a public health CDC-led comprehensive attack on this problem because it was a public health epidemic. And so over the last 30 years, what we found is that the infection rates have dipped dramatically. We've also found that the prevention strategies have worked, and we found that treatment has been improved and people are living long and this problem has been combated. Now, when it comes to Zika, the president asked for $1.9 billion to prevent the Zika virus spread into this hemisphere and to slow down the spread of it in the southern hemisphere. Why am I saying all of that? We're looking at ways to get down to the root causes of violence, but we're not doing any of this public health work. All we're doing is talking about the violence. We're talking about the killings. I want to ask you, if 240 people in Skokie or Evanston or Barrington or Glencoe were impacted and died from any type of purpose, any type of reason, or if 1,400 of them had significant morbidity or injury, what would be the public response? Would there be research? Would there be diagnosis and treatment? Okay? We're not looking at this thing in the right way. And until we direct the treatment of the root causes of violence to mental illness, we're not going to get the result we're looking for. And we're going to go tomorrow, we're going to look a little bit deeper at some of the other underlying causes of mental illness. And we're going to be talking about epigenetics, transgenerational epigenetics, and similar topics. Thank you. I'm Ken Nave, and I'm out.